Carragher, Micah Richards. Champions League semi-finals are now clear. Should we take a look at the updated bracket now that the quarter-finals, both legs have been played? So here is what we have got. Dortmund against PSG on the one side of the bracket. Bayern versus Real Madrid on the other side of the bracket. It could be either an all-German final.
Oh, it's going to be an Mbappe final, isn't it?
That all-German final was at Wembley.
In
Dortmund, Bayern Munich,
yes.
2013.
Mm-hmm.
It was.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Good job, saved you there.
Saved me from what?
Buster, that is.
You didn't know, did you?
Didn't know what?
That final was played before at Wembley.
Nobody asked me the question.
No, but you were the host. You were talking about an all-German final. A nice little bit of information for the viewers.
I was about to continue my sentence, but then you rudely interrupted me, so I didn't get the chance to do that. Anyway, where are we? Thierry, how do you feel?
Good.
You do?
Yeah.
It's a bit of a sombre night for Premier League football, would you say? Arsenal out, Manchester City out.
Yeah, but it's about winning it when you have Real Madrid on your way. Obviously, Mancity managed to do it last year. The year before, on the way, Real Madrid beat every single team from the Premier League. So it is what it is. I think for me, it's not so much of a Premier League thing or not. So as you can see, you have two German teams there, a French team and obviously a Spanish team. But I think at the end of the day, on the night, and I know. Man City had the ball and they were pushing and this and that, but the way they played defensively, Real Madrid, is just astonishing. And I know, yes, they had one shot on target, that was the goal, but City don't have a lot, just that crossbar, and that was about it. And the goal, obviously, you know what I mean.
It's weird, is it, Jamie? Because I guess it's a reminder that in European football, or on a stage as big as this, as big as the Champions League, form isn't always what necessarily matters. Certainly, if you look at the Bayern-Arsenal result.
No, and I've said this before plenty of times. The team who wins the Champions League is not necessarily the best team in Europe. And I think Real Madrid, a few occasions, we'll see what they do this season. I think in the past, they've won. I think they beat Liverpool in the final we had a couple of years ago. They find a way to win. So I think they've played Manchester City now, I don't know if it's 3 times in 3 years or 3 times in 4 years. They've beaten them twice, and City have been the better team. But Real Madrid, there is something special about that club that have a hold on the opposition, a mentality, a belief they are the best team in Europe. And they beat Manchester City here on a penalty shootout when the last shot was on target. It was in the 12th minute of the game, the goal. A couple of years before, they beat them with 2 goals in the last minute. That was just to take it to extra time. So there's something about this competition at Real Madrid that puts them on a completely different level to anybody else. Because anybody watching that game and didn't know the names of the teams, you'd say it was an absolute mismatch. And this team here are one of the luckiest teams you've seen to get through. But we know it's Real Madrid, and that's what they do.
Does it feel more bitter to go out, Micah, when you believe that you were the better side?
No, I think Jamie summed it up perfectly. I think you can't always win it. Man City, of course, were the dominant team, but it matters at the end, isn't it? That is the difference. It went to penalties. It's 50-50 on the night. Real Madrid got the win. Like Thierry said, they defended so well. I think Man City would just be frustrated within themselves to dominate the game like that and not put the chances away. When you've got players like Haaland on the field, who we've talked about so highly, not managing to make a proper impact in the game. Foden at times, isolated on that right, went into the middle, second half, looked a lot better. Kevin De Bruyne got the goal as well. I thought Kyle Walker, as I mentioned before the game, did really well with Vinicius. But that man on his screen there, Bellingham, he didn't stop running all night. He is a proper talent. And there's no bitterness from me. At the end of the day.
It goes down.
What's wrong? I don't know why you stopped talking.
Someone just said, shut up a minute, Micah. I didn't know. Yeah, I mean...
Oh dear. Jude Bellingham, you're talking about him. He scored his penalty. Let's go through some of the key penalties that we saw really make a difference in this penalty shootout. Jude Bellingham, confident.
Very confident. Thierry mentioned it. Which way is going to go? It says closed, keeper's right. Bernardo Silva miss there. I thought he tried to penetrate at the start, but it's bravery from the goalkeeper, Jamie.
Really interesting if that had been something, they spoke about beforehand. But the goalkeeper, as we mentioned before, has got a great record from penalties. Now 10 saves, I think, from 26 penalties. So he's been the difference. But Ederson, fantastic, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. And then it finished with that man, Rudiger. Thierry, are you confident?
Well, you know what? It was the best penalty of all. If you hit the post and he goes in, there's no way the goalkeeper can take that. I don't know if he meant that, but you can't say that. So, it was magnificent. And we're talking about the penalties, and we talked about Bellingham, and we all know that he is that glue to that team. He will link the midfield to the two strikers. But Carvajal, sorry, you took a yellow straight away in the game. You have to defend the whole night on Grealish. Then Jeremy Doku. What a game. This is why I always say, football, yes, and I love the way City plays. We cannot talk about that. It is outstanding. But there is something called defending. You can also control a game defending well. And Real Madrid, and I know people will say City was the best team. Defending is part of the game. They defended ever so well against City. They didn't give them a lot. So, as much as people can say City was the best team, you have to defend also in football, and they did that ever so well. So I think the best team, the team that defended well also went through.
What would you say about the performance of Andre Lunin in goal for Real Madrid? Saved two of the penalties, the Manchester City penalties. Not a keeper whose name we're hugely familiar with, I think, in terms of the way you have been in years gone by with Real Madrid.
He was probably third choice keeper. And you think Courtois, obviously, he's been out injured. Could argue the best goalkeeper in the world, sitting in the top 2 or 3. I'm not going to try and pronounce his name, but Ariza Balaga.
Perfect.
Is on loan from Chelsea. He's gone in there. He cost a huge fee. He's gone in there and he's replaced them. And I've just told you his record there: 10 saves and 26 penalties, and he was outstanding. Listen, let's not forget he made a big mistake in the first leg early on from Bernardo Silva's free kick. So the personality he showed as well to go away to City, keep them in check, and then basically he'll be the hero now. He'll be all over the back pages in Spain.
Let's go through some of the action from the game. So it feels like such a long time ago now, doesn't it? 12th minute of the game was when Real Madrid took the lead in this one, made it 1-0, which put them 4-3 up on aggregate. Rodrigo, this was Thierry.
Yeah, I mean, the touch of Bellingham, that's what we're saying every time. He's the guy putting the ball on the ground. The amount of time he kept that ball, he invited his team in. Valverde for Vinicius Jr. and in 1 and 2 times, Rodrigo scores. But the amount of time Bellingham allowed his team to go forward, and yes, that was the only shot on target, and yes, that was the goal, but they had a lot of counters that they didn't finish well. But look, that was what they planned, what they wanted to do. They did it early, and obviously City scored, and they went through on penalty, but they were just actually, like I always said, they love to execute a plan, Real Madrid, and you always think that you have them, but you don't.
But then Haaland, who was nullified probably over 2 legs, gets a chance. Akanji going into that midfield row, De Bruyne on the overlap. Ball comes back out. And Haaland does really well to get back on side, but he was so limited in chances over these 2 legs. I don't think you can blame him for that. He's coming back, just leaning back a little bit, but I think he does well to get a decent enough contact in it, but it wasn't meant to be. It wasn't his night tonight. And his overall game wasn't great tonight. It didn't really have an impact. But that was his probably best chance of the game, Kate.
And then Kevin De Bruyne, he got a chance. I mean, obviously comes to the fore even more so in the second half. And I mean, it's a save the goalkeeper should make. And he does. He still has to make it.
This is what I was trying to say. Nacho does ever so well here. It looked like a chance at the end, but it wasn't really. They covered it well. This is what I'm saying. We struggled to find a lot of chances from Man City.
The goal did come, though. Let's take a look at the one that came from Manchester City. Kevin De Bruyne. With this one, who wants to take? Micah, you want to take it?
Yeah, well, I mean, Doku did ever so well when he come on. Added that energy, that pace, that dynamism down that side. and I just think it's a cool finish. You'll see it on more angles. We was talking about Foden and De Bruyne in that second half of normal time, trying to get into these little bit of pockets, and you'll see it here best on this angle. The way he just managed to lift the ball, hits the bottom of the ball so it just guides up. It was a brilliant finish.
But this is the big chance that Kevin De Bruyne should score. You think he scored the vital goal last season in this tie, the equaliser in the Bernabeu, and that was to win the game. And that's the biggest chance they had. And because of the player it falls to, it's a bigger chance than probably what it is to fall to somebody else, because he's that good a player, Kevin De Bruyne. But then Thierry, Real Madrid.
And then Rudiger, of all people, I don't know what he was doing there, but he was. And it's not an easy finish if you want to finish with your wrong foot, even for a striker. But then that's maybe the guy that, if you're Real Madrid, you didn't want at that particular moment. But yeah, it was a tight affair.
Where it's not like we've gone and dominated and destroyed the game, but we did what it took to win. Like I said yesterday, everyone had them down as a favourites, but we know what we're capable of. We know the qualities we have in that dressing room, and we showed it tonight.
The goal for Real Madrid, your control on the ball, talk me through it. That looked pretty something out there.
Yeah, I just saw the ball coming over my head. I probably didn't realise I wouldn't have the pace on it to take it in behind, so I thought that I'd try and get it back the other way and manoeuvre so that we could create a chance a little bit later on. And I think the important thing is the movement after, which is really good to see. Fede, Vinny, and then Rodrigo getting into the right area, and yeah, we produced a moment that was enough to kind of see us through for the rest of the 80 odd minutes.
You beat the favourites, defending champions. What do you think that says about this Real Madrid side?
I think it says that we've kind of got the character to go head to head against anyone. We're not kind of shy to say that we're confident in our own abilities, but it's important that, like I said, we take the same respect into the next game and we analyse the game and have the same focus that we did tonight.
And finally, ¿cómo van las clases de español?
Sí, dos cada semana.
Oh, sí. Okay, not bad, okay. Well
not
done.
Not on your level yet, but I'm getting there.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Cool.
Good penalty right into the top corner. And he can turn away having done his bit.